guys, and welcome back to another Flintstones Friday video. So this one is for episode number 7 in the first season, which is The Babysitters, which is kind of an interesting, I would like to say maybe experimental run of seeing what the dynamics would be like of seeing Fred with a baby without the commitment of making it be his own. So basically the plot premise of this one is Barney goes to work, which I guess his repo man job must not have panned out, because now he's working at Mr. Granite's office. Not sure if it's the quarry yet or not, but the president's name is Mr. Granite, which I don't think lines up with the quarry, but I digress. Anyway, so he wants to see him. He thinks he's gonna be in trouble because he was late to work because he got in a traffic jam because he listened to Fred, who was like, we'll take the freeway and we'll bypass all the traffic. And yeah, it ended up being a traffic jam just the same. Regardless, he gets called in there, and turns out that the boss just wanted to give him tickets to that night's, boxing match, because his wife wouldn't let him go to it. So he had to offload these tickets to somebody, and he gave them to Barney. So Barney's all excited and knows that Fred's going to be excited when he tells him, because he's going to go with him, and they were going to watch it on TV that night anyway, just upgraded now they get to see it in person. Meanwhile, Wilma is with Betty and apparently their bridge group, and turns out that they have agreed to have their husbands babysit one of their bridge club's members' baby Egbert. Yeah, I know. Without bothering to consult them first or anything, assuming that it would be a safe evening for him to do it because they were just going to be at home watching the fight on TV anyway, what difference would it be to stick a baby with them to babysit? Perfect, right? Yeah, and on the premise of trying not to make them mad in the process of breaking the news to him, they both decide to make a big dinner for him, since how mad could they be when they're being so nice? And obviously, they both lose their cool. They both get hella pissed over it, but at the same time are made to feel like a heel over it and agree to it begrudgingly. So they decide they're gonna babysit this kid. They'll just watch the match at home. The wives make them a shit ton of sandwiches. Turns out the fight is being blacked out for a 25-mile radius around where the fight's being held. So they're screwed. Fred's so mad he throws a bottle through the TV. So they decide to go to one of their friends. Oh gosh, what was his face? It's like a recurring character that shows up over and over again. I can't think of his name right now, but regardless, I think it's Joe Rockhead? Is that right? It's something along those lines. If that's not it, feel free to correct me, but I think that's the name. But it's definitely a recurring character throughout the series. They decide to go to his house because he's far enough away to where they should be televising it there. Problem, he's not home, so they decide in their infinite wisdom they're gonna just break in and watch the fight anyway. Because he would understand totally, right? So he's got a dog. Well, dinosaur dog thing, whatever. And it keeps trying to bite them both since, they're breaking and entering. Barney goes to put the baby down to bed in the bedroom. Puts the dog in there with it to watch the baby, because, how much trouble could a baby get into with a dog watching it, right? Apparently a lot, because the baby can undress itself and dress the dog, who then jumps out the window. The dog, I mean. And one of them sees it, and they're like, oh shit, we have to go rescue the baby. Not knowing that the baby is still safely in the bedroom. So they go on a wild goose chase trying to get the baby back. And eventually, they call for a fireman to get this baby out of a tree. And when they find out it's a dog, they get arrested for pranking like that. Meanwhile, owner of the house comes home, sees that his door has been knocked down. He's like, oh shit, burglars. And decides he's going to womp on them. Except then he finds the baby in there and calls the police, is like, yeah, it's a baby burglar. Needless to say, this all ends up on the TV news that night. The wives find out, including the mom of the baby as well. They all go down to the police station, they bail the guys out and everything, but just Yeah, it did not go well for anyone involved. It's an interesting one because, again, it is like an experimental episode, and seeing the dynamic of what it could look like if there were a baby involved. Maybe this was like a test run to see how the audience would like react to it, but I have a feeling that must not have reacted too terribly great to it, since it was several seasons down the pike before they involved Pebbles. So yeah, that. And I kind of agree. It's like, out of these early episodes, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, it kind of dragged in spots where I was like, alright, this one's actually, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, I'm gonna say this one's actually a little boring in spots even. So it's like, yeah, it's not one of the stronger ones. I wouldn't rate this one too highly. It's definitely a forgettable episode. Easily skippable, but yeah. So, but it's still interesting just seeing in, like, the history of the show's canon in the early days, as they're still figuring it all out. Just seeing how it lines up with the timeline, but at the same time seeing how they're already breaking their own canon without admitting they're doing it, with, like, regards to Barney's job. It did have a couple more of, like, the animal appliances again, this time in the cars. One for the car horn, and one for one of those foreign cars that has the motor in the back, and is literally a dinosaur behind the car pushing it down the road. But again, I always get a kick out of that gag. I don't know why, I do. But anyway, so, but overall it's like, it's not one of the stronger ones in my opinion, but it's watchable. It's not that terrible, but at the same time, it's definitely not one of the stronger ones. So, anyway, that's about all I have to say about it. So, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddit, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.